Hello and welcome back to NDTV Profit. I'm Mihika Barve and you're watching Ask Profit, a show where we get all your stock-related queries answered from our fundamental and technical guests. You can send your queries on the numbers that's flashing below your screen. But before we get on to your queries, let's just take a quick look at how markets are faring right now. Well, we have the Nifty 50, which is trading fairly flat with a positive bias on the benchmark. When you talk about, the counters that are gaining in today's day of trade, well, we have strength in stocks like NTPC, Eicher Motors, and M&M, all up 1.2% in trade today. The stocks that aren't doing so well, we have the Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv counters that are under pressure, down about 3% in trade today, and some weakness in counters like Hindustan Unilever as well as SBI Life. When you look at the broader markets, well, we do have the Nifty Mid-Cap 150, which is the clear outperformer today. It's up to almost 0.2% right now. We have some counters that are gaining on this index. We have Dixon Technology up almost 6% right now. Strength in counters like BSE, Thermax, as well as Macrotech Developers. Macrotech Developers is up on back of a brokerage note. The counters that aren't doing so well on the Nifty Mid-Cap, well, you have LIC Housing, which is under pressure today. It's down about 6%, as well as Kalyan Jewellers and Imami seeing cuts of 4 to 5%. When you look at the sectoral indices, well, you'll get that on the screen. If you could get the sectoral indices right there, we have the Nifty Metal and the Nifty Energy counters that are doing well and are the top sectoral gainers in today. The sectors that aren't showing that much strength is the Nifty FMCG and the Nifty Oil and Gas. But a sector that we are going to focus today are the rice companies. Now, this on the back of the government scrapping the minimum export price of Basmati. And we have Mahima actually joining us. Mahima, what is causing the buzz? And could you give us more details on how the counters have been performing as well?
Absolutely, Mika. So as you rightly mentioned, government has scrapped the minimum export price of Basmati, which was set at $950. Now in October, this MEP was reduced from $1,200 to $950. Now, the scrapping of this MEP will actually help stabilize the price of Basmati rice, which was falling continuously due to fewer global orders. Now, price of Basmati at wholesale level is expected to increase from 55 to 65 over a shorter period of time, and it will stabilize at that 65 per kg, rupees 65 per kg. Now, this is, this could possibly benefit stocks like LT Foods, KRBL, Chamanlal Setia Exports, as well as GRM Overseas. Now, as you can see, both LT Foods, KRBL, as well as Chamanlal Setia have been buzzing today on the back of this. Now, India is the world's top rice shipper, and India has been limiting sales on key rice varieties. And because of this, scrapping of MEP, the export of key varieties of rice will happen more often. In terms of LT Foods, where LT Foods has reported a sales growth of roughly 17% in the rice segment, the company is optimistic about achieving double-digit growth in its international markets, and it plans to invest roughly 200 crores as capex in FY25. Now, KRBL is another stock in focus. It's a key player in Basmati rice exports, and it has underscored the importance of markets such as Iran, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia. And it will now focus on these markets going forward, and it has maintained a steady 6% market share in the US. However, it did witness a 30% decline in its exports in FY24, and this could possibly boost their exports overall. The third stock in focus is Chamanlal Setia Exports, where exports contribute around 89% of the total revenues, and Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa contribute around 84% of their total revenues overall. So, Mihika, these are some of the stocks that are buzzing on the back of government, scrapping the MEP for Basmati rice exports.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mahima, for giving us those details. And, we'll take this sector up first. We are joining us today here on Ask Profit is Ashish Maheshwari, who is the director at Arihant Capital Markets, and Rajesh Palviya, who is the SVP and Technical and Director Research Access Securities. Ashish, I'll come first to you. What is your views on the rice sector as, an entire pack, and any stocks that stand out?
Yes, I think this was a long demand of rice millers for increasing this cap on Basmati rice export price. And because of this, the prices are quite contained in Indian markets also. But now, as government focuses towards increasing income of farmers, and now Haryana elections are also around the corner, so all such moves are expected. So, but nevertheless, as far as companies are concerned, I think the companies like GRM Overseas, KRBL, Kohinoor Foods, LT Foods, which are dominant players in Basmati rice, they tend to gain because their major focus is only on the exports market. So in my view, like how we have seen sugar sector got short in last few months, same thing is going to happen in rice. Limited players are there, but I think those players will keep on doing good, like KRBL, GRM Overseas, and Kohinoor and LT Food, etc.
Thank you so much, Ashish, for giving us your outlook. Let's now move on to your viewer queries. And the first query that we do have is from Sudhir, who's from Bangalore. Now, Sudhir bought Tata Steel, 300 Tata Steel shares at a price of 168, and he's asking whether he should hold this position. Rajesh, I'll come up first to you. How does Tata Steel look on the charts, and what's your view on the query?
So stock is in consolidation since last couple of days. Though stock has slipped below to its near-term, short-term moving averages. So there is a weakness on the near-term structure. Looking at the near-term structure, 148 is the immediate support area for the stock. On the higher side, the major supply zone, which is placed at around 160 level. So until the stock not manages to cross above 160, it may remain in the range only. 145 to 160 would be the range for some more time. If it's managed to give breakout above 160, then possibility of moving up towards 175 to 180 would be there. But it may take time. So if he wants to stay for some more months, so then he can hold on. Otherwise, in pullback towards 160, he may exit the position.
Exit the position of 160, but can hold on from a longer term. The next query that we have is from Vamsidhar, who's from Visakhapatnam. Now, he's holding ITC shares, 325 in quantity, at an average price of 329 rupees. And he's thinking of selling all of his quantity, and he wanted some advice on the same. Ashish, I'll come to you. Fundamentally, do you think ITC has more upside triggers? Hello, Ashish? Okay, Rajesh, you know what? I'll come up to you first. Vamsidhar is looking to sell his entire position in ITC, a quantity of 325 shares, and he's asking whether he should sell the entire quantity.
So in last couple of weeks, we have seen FMCG basket have done well, and most of the FMCG stocks have moved up. If we analyze the structure for ITC, it's almost trading near to its all-time high trajectory. And across all time frame, we are seeing the strength on the stock charts. So I think there could be some consolidation, but on a longer term, I think there is a possibility that stock may move further higher towards 560 to 580 kind of zone. So I would suggest to hold on the position in ITC at this juncture. Even if he wants to exit in ITC, I think he should follow some trailing stop loss to protect the profit. And trailing stop loss would be around 495. So till stock is not breaking below 495, there is a possibility of 540 to 560 kind of target over a period of time.
Got it. 540 to 550 kind of target over a period of time. We seem to have some technical issues with Ashi. So, Rajesh, I'll come to you with the next query as well. Now, this is from Chandra, and he's holding bazaar-style retail at a purchase price of 419 rupees per share at a quantity of 50, and his profits right now stand at 1.23 lakhs. And he is asking whether he should wait or sell his position.
So I guess this is the new listed stock. So I have very limited data setup for the stock. But whatever data I have, I think looking at the structure, stock is continuously in facing the supply pressure post listing, and we believe that looking at the supply pressure, maybe we could see further more down prices in the stock. On the higher side, I think 365, 370 is the major supply zone. Until the stock not crosses above those level, I think its stock may correct further and possibly it may go down towards 330, 320 kind of level also. But I have very limited data setup, so I think based on the technical taking decision at this price would be a little different. So, but yes, trend is still looking weak on the near-term structure.
Got it. Ashish, I'll come back to you with the same question. We have bazaar style. Chandra is asking whether he should, hold or sell his entire position. What are your views on the same?
It is a stock post-listing. It has given very negative returns. And in this buoyant IPO market where companies are giving so good returns, like performance of this stock is quite painful as such, because anyway allotment doesn't come, and if you get allotments etc. and you see such performance, then there's always an issue. So in my view, stock was slightly overpriced, and this retail chain business particularly market is not having still that much comfort, and this issue came ahead of good demand also. So there's not too much demand was there in IPO, and we have seen sale off coming in the stock. And in my view, you should exit from the stock and instead keep on investing in new IPOs, which can give you much better return. I'm not too convinced on Bajaj style retail.
Got it. Just a small correction. Chandra is actually making a loss on his position right now, but that's just the correction. But we now move on to a stock that we've gotten many queries on today, and I'm going to be taking the query from Ajit Malappuram, who's from Kerala, and this is about Bajaj Housing Finance. Now he's holding 350 shares. In the IPO, 214 numbers and balances at 156. Now he wishes to add more, but he's asking if it's worth. Is it worth to wait more time to buy at a bottom level around 125 to 140? And is there any chance of, the stock correcting? Ashish, I'll come to you first. We have a lot of queries flowing in about, whether it's the right time to buy Bajaj Housing Finance today. Should people hold their position? What are your views on this counter?
My view will be to remain invested. I think in Bajaj Group stocks, we have seen exponential growth coming in, whether Bajaj Finance, Finserv, and all these stocks have really rewarded investor very well. And housing finance is a sector where this particular company can show exponential growth because on a lower base. So my suggestion will be, though stock is expensive, this is almost at 8 times market price to book value, but still Bajaj is Bajaj, and in my view, remain invested. At least have 1 year time frame in your mind. You will have 250 plus target here.
The next query we actually have is from Naveen in Bangalore, and this is regarding Jio Finance. And he has 100 shares at price of 325 rupees. Now, he had taken a long-term position on this counter, but he's wondering if he should hold or exit his his position in Jio Finance. Rajesh, I'll come to you. How does the counter look on the charts?
So we have seen a very strong rally in the stock, but since last couple of months, stock is showing some bit of corrective move. But in this correction also, stock is holding the ground on the long-term chart. If we draw a trend line on the monthly chart, upsloping trend line support is still intact for the stock. So we believe that on the long term, yes, stock may deliver good amount of return. So he may hold on the position, and possibly on the downside. If you wish to keep some stop loss, I think stop loss I would suggest around 295. And if it's not breaks below 295, I think there is a possibility once the stock crosses above 375, there is a possible target of 460 to 480 we could see in coming months. So from my side, yes, Bajaj Jio Finance can be hold for long-term perspective.
Got it, Rajesh. The next query we have is from Sweta from Kolkata. Now, she's holding 110 shares of Hindustan Motors at rupees 33.28, and she's asking where, from a long-term perspective, should she maybe add more depending on the outlook. Ashish, I'll come to you. What's your view on Hindustan Motors?
As the fundamentals are concerned, this is just a 600 crore market cap company now, and with a zero sales. So it's more their land sale related story, etc., and more trading play instead of more fundamental play. So if you want to remain in this sector, I think below 100 rupees, if you get Ola Electric, that will be better. But in the motors is exit in my.
Got it, Ashish. The next query we have is about IRFC. Now, the viewer is holding 2,116 shares of IRFC at a price of 220.36, but it's gone down ever since, and that's his worry. So he's asking for his outlook for the next 2 to 5 years. Ashish, I'll come up first to you. What's the fundamental, outlook looking like for IRFC?
this is again a question most of the retail people are wondering or asking again and again, because these railway stocks or PSU stocks, people are slightly badly stuck up at highs, or they were not able to book gains. So in my view, you don't have choice but to remain invested for some more time. Though stock has appreciated from 65 to almost 225, but now we are witnessing a lot of selling because retail investors are losing patience when they see the stock doesn't move, and the institutional buying is not happening nowadays, and mostly this PSU and railways stock, because the valuations are quite stretched compared to other NBFC player or gold loan player, etc. So in my view, keep a stop loss of at least 150 and remain invested, and have a target of 181 to 185 for exit. Don't expect this stock will be 225 or so in short term.
Now, the most positive outlook from Ashish. Rajesh, what are your views? Do they mirror Ashish's, or do you have a different outlook?
So IRFC is in correction mode. If we analyze on a daily, weekly time frame, stock is moving in down sloping channel on the daily chart. That suggests that some supply pressure is sustained supply pressure is there in the stock prices. Even on the monthly chart, also stock has broken its upsloping trend line support area. So I think in near term to short term perspective, some pain would be there in the stock prices, but for the long term, if it comes around 150, 145 kind of zone, it's attractive level again to re-enter this stock. I think stock may attempt to take support around 150, 145 zone. And if that happens, so some pullback action would come. And in the pullback, 175 to 180 is the supply zone if it crosses. I think stock has potential to again regain to its all-time high trajectory. But it's a positional bet, not on the day-to-day trading activity. I think buy and accumulate in the decline would be the right strategy for IRFC.
Thank you so much, Rajesh. The next query we have is from Sagar Palnati, and this is about Kalyan Jewellers, and he's asking whether he should hold or sell his position. Now, he purchased the share at 631.5 rupees, and he's holding 2012 shares, and currently has a profit of 1.2 lakhs. Ashish, I'll come first to you. The fundamental view for Kalyan Jewellers?
Fundamentally, this company is doing very well, and in my view, these all gold stocks will continue to outperform. Though today there's some correction is there, but in my view, this stock has potential to touch 1,000 rupees mark also in maybe next 6 to 9 months. Because again, the gold prices are almost at $2,600. The next thing is, as there's a festive season, wedding season is coming up, and the way Kalyan Jewellers expanded their reach across the India, this is almost a proxy to now Titan. So this is the reason that 70,000 crore market cap also stock look good, and in my view, this will touch almost a 1 lakh crore company maybe next year.
Got it, Ashish. Let's move on to the next query, and this is from Sushila Bellari, who has shares of Avantel at a price of 113, and they have 543 shares and a profit of over 30 lakhs, and they're asking for the targets, whether they should exit or hold the position. Rajesh, I'll come to you. Any specific targets for this counter?
I think since last couple of months, stock is in correction mode, and looking at the structure for this Avantel, I think trend is still on the weaker side. 160 should be the stop loss if they are holding the position. If it breaks below 160, I think furthermore supply pressure we could see in the stock prices, and possibly it may go down further. On the higher side, 175, 178 are the major supply zone which is placed at or almost coincide with the 20-day moving average. So I think until the stock not breaking below 160, they may hold on the position.
Got it, Rajesh. The next query we have is from Pawan from Bengaluru, and this is about BEML. Now, he has 160 shares at a price of 4,740 rupees, and he's asking for the outlook on, whether you should hold or, exit the position. Ashish, I'll come up to you first. Your views on BEML?
So this is again a stock from 5,500 rupees. We have seen continuous selling in this stock, and the June quarter they reported loss also. So in my view, it's better to book loss and switch to some other stock. I'm not expecting that BML will bounce back in Jiffy.
Okay, got it. The next query is from Sujay from Kolkata. Now, he invested in IDFC Bank at 70 rupees a counter, and he's asking the view from a longer term perspective. Ashish, I'll come to you. What's the view, for the 3 to 5 year period for IDFC Bank?
So again, IDFC Bank is a stock which is hovering now near 52-week low. If you see from highs of 90 rupees, 92 rupees, now the stock is almost at 73, and 52-week low is 70. It means that whatever growth-related issues were there in the bank, they are still continuing. And it is the time when frontline banks are not moving. It's very difficult for mid-sized bank, IDFC or RBL, etc., to move. So my suggestion will be to exit from IDFC First Bank. I'm not expecting that this has potential to become double or something in next 5 years. Challenging times are ahead for private sector bank. I think PSU banks will even still perform, but not be a second-rung private sector banks.
A sell call from Ashish. Rajesh, when I come to you, how does IDFC look on the charts though?
So stock is in downtrend. Series of lower top, lower bottom formation is taking place in the stock on the daily chart or as well as on the weekly chart. That clearly suggests that sustained supply pressure is there in the stock prices. And looking at the structure, I think if it breaks below 70 level, I think possible downside may continue further. And in this decline, maybe stock can slide further towards 65, even 60 kind of level also. So I think stock is in downtrend. So I think a minor pullback, if it comes in the stock towards 80 kind of zone, I think one should exit because it's underperforming stock. And looking at the short term, medium term structure, we believe that underperformance is likely to be there in this stock. So I think around 80 he may exit from the position or follow the stop loss of 70 rupees. If it's break, maybe the stock can correct further.
Got it, Rajesh. The next question we have is from Akhilesh Chaudhary from Bangalore, and he's asking about the outlook for Ola Electric as well as Vodafone Idea. Let's take up Ola Electric first. The stock is up quite 19% since its listing. Ashish, your view, it had a stellar listing, but has seen some correction. What are your views on the counter?
Yes, there's some correction from almost 157 rupees. The stock is now almost at 107. So profit booking is happening. And in my view, stock is good. But only thing is the timing of buying the stock should be also in sync. So my suggestion will be to look at surely this stock below 100 rupees. I'm expecting some more selling will continue in this stock because again, the investment is going towards more frontline stocks like Bajaj and Hero MotoCorp, which are performing much better compared to Ola Electric. But below 100 rupees, surely I like to take a price.
Rajesh, I'll come to you on Vodafone Idea. The stock's not done so well year to date. How does the counter look on the charts?
So it's a low ticket size stock and nothing happening in this stock. We have seen a significant cut in the stock in last couple of days, and stock has broken its important support area of 15 rupees on the weekly chart. Now stock has slipped below to its 100-day moving average also. So weakness is there in the stock prices. And now stock is now trading near to its critical support area of 12 rupees 75 paisa. That's the critical level based on the monthly chart. If it slips below to 12 rupees 75 paisa, I think furthermore weakness towards 12 rupees or 11.50 we could see. On the higher side, 15 is the challenging level on the higher side. So until stock not crosses above 15, it may remain in the downtrend, and 12 rupees to 15 rupees would be the range for some more time for the stock.
Got it. A downtrend until the counter hits rupees 15. The next question we have is from Sunil Kumar, and this is about whether one should buy Divi's Laboratories at the current level. It's trading at around 5,515 rupees a counter. I'll come to you, Rajesh. Any specific targets for Divi's Laboratories if someone wants to enter the position?
So definitely Divi's can be a buy. Based on the technical, stock is now breaking out its multi-month swing high. Stock is now trading about to October 2021 swing high. So that clearly suggests that stock has recovered from after the corrective move, and stock is now managed to give multi-month breakout. So yes, based on technical, yes, definitely one should hold on the position. And we believe that if it continues to hold above 50, 400, 350 kind of zone, the possible target on a short term to medium term perspective, we could see towards 5,800 to 6,000 also. So it's a positional bet based on this long term breakout. The stop loss should be placed at around 5350. Upside target is 5,800 to 6,000.
Got it, Rajesh. The next query we have is from Neelmani Dwivedi from Raipur, and she's holding the IRB Infra stock at a purchase price of 65 rupees, and the number of shares she's holding is 1,300, and currently she's facing a loss of 5.4 thousand rupees. But she's asking about the 1 year view. Ashish, what are your initial views on IRB Infra? Do you think there's more upside fundamentally?
I think after this correction of 15, 16 rupees, the stock is looking attractive. But only thing is that from March to June, we saw a significant fall in quarter-over-quarter profitability in this company. So I like to wait for this quarterly numbers before making a fresh buy. Just hold for at least 1 month, and if the stock even comes below 55, then also I like to buy, but not at higher prices. So just wait and watch will be strategy, and just wait for this quarterly numbers to take a call.
Thank you, Ashish. And with that, we're completely out of time. I want to thank Ashish and Rajesh for joining us, and we want to thank viewers for joining us today. Remember, we will get all your stock related queries and answered with the fundamental and technical analysis at the same time here tomorrow. But till then, stay tuned to NDTV Profit.
Hot Money. This is Mahima Vachharjani. Let's take a quick look at how the markets are doing and then move on with the show. Well, in terms of the benchmark indices, the Nifty 50 and Sensex, if you can pull up those charts, both did hit a live high today. The Nifty did hit a live high at 25,445, trading in a tough range of 80 odd points. Currently almost 70 odd points away from its day's highs and trading flat at 0% as we speak. Let's pull up the Sensex and see what it's doing in trade. It did touch a live high at 83,184, and the Sensex is a tad bit under the pressure right now. It's down around 0.02%. It's trading within a range of 280 odd points and currently 190 to 200 odd points away from its day's high. Let's also pull up the broader markets and see what they're doing in trade. Pull up the mid-cap 150. The mid-cap 150 has sustained its gains throughout the day and it's up around 1.15%. However, the small-cap 250 has been a tad bit under pressure and is still under pressure, down around 0.13%. Let's also pull up the Bank Nifty and see what Bank Nifty is doing in trade. Well, the Bank Nifty has had a range-bound trade in the past 1 week. However, it's doing well in trade today, up around 0.3%. Let's also pull up the contributors on the Nifty and see what are the counters in green and in red. The counters like Bharti Airtel, M&M, L&T, ICICI Bank, some of the counters that are contributing positively on the index, whereas there are counters like HUL, Bajaj Finance, RIL, and Infosys, some counters that are pulling down on the Nifty. Let's pull up the breadth of the market and see what advanced decline ratio looks like. There you go. The chart has almost narrowed down to 1:1, and there's, as I rightly said, the advances to decline ratio is exactly 1:1 as we speak. And in fact, this map has been narrowing since the start of the trade today. Let's also pull up the sectors and see what are the sectors that are buzzing in trade today, where it's a second day of gain for Nifty Realty. Nifty Media is up also 0.8%. Again, gains for Nifty Metal, third day in a row, up around 0.6%. However, Nifty FMCG is facing some pressure today. It's down around 0.8%, and this is on the back of the news of rise of export duty prices on edible oil. They use edible oil as their raw material prices, so margins for FMCG company might be under impact. But let's shift focus to rice stocks, and KRBL is in focus. It's up around 5.6% as we speak. Now, this is on the back of government scrapping the minimum export price for Basmati rice, and we have Akshay Gupta joining in, who is the head of bulk exports at KRBL. Welcome to the show, Mr. Gupta. First off, I want to understand that how do you see the impact of scrapping of this minimum export price overall in terms of your export volumes and profitability, as well as overall for the industry?
Yeah, so thank you for having me on the show. So it's a very welcome move by the government of India to scrap the minimum export price. It was a long-awaited news, and actually it has come in a good time for us because it's just the beginning of the purchase season for us for the new crop Basmati, and it gives us it gives us a lot more clarity on the new business that we are going to do with our exporters or with our importers worldwide. So it will open up new avenues for the business. Actually, 950 was quite a high price for the current new crop prices that we are seeing in the market, and it was restricting Basmati exports to quite an extent. So it's quite a welcome move for us.
Right. And Mr. Gupta, this $950 per ton was reduced from $1,200 per ton last October. Did you see some kind of positive impact post that? Because, that will help us quantify that, completely scrapping off that $950 per ton. What is the kind of impact it will have overall in terms of your volumes and profitability?
So last year, the government had put a $1,200 MEP, but it was at the end of the season. And then when the new crop came, we had again gone to the government to ask for a reduction in MEP, on which they accepted $950. Last year, the new crop prices were on a higher side. But this year, there has been very good monsoons. We have seen an increase in crop by about 15% compared to last year. So the new crop prices are expected to be even lower. And our competitor, Pakistan, also has a MEP of about $750. Which is restricting Indian exports for the last, 4 or 5 months. So we had really pleaded the government to abolish the MEP altogether. So it will have a positive impact on the trade.
All right. And Mr. Gupta, from what I've gathered, even what analysts are suggesting is that, there appears to be a surplus when it comes to rice production right now. And plus, there is some export realization, where it's the export realization where you're actually facing issues. So what's the scenario there? I'm trying to understand what's the scenario there. And do you see export realizations to be an issue here, or do you see that improving as well?
So export realizations will see. I would like to bring some clarity here. So Basmati has it has different varieties of Basmati there. So from $800 up to $2,000 is the entire spectrum. So this MEP will facilitate the transaction of the lower end of the Basmati spectrum. So there's a variety called 1509, which is mainly gone into bulk exports. So this variety is actually trading below the $950 MEP. So the exports for this variety will get facilitated. The majority of the trade, which is about $1,100 plus, will continue as is. So the lower end will get a boost. So we are expecting about 15 to 20% increase in the overall exports, which was being restricted for the last 4-5 months.
Understood. And Mr. Gupta, in terms of your, wholesale prices, do you expect them also to increase going forward because of this?
Wholesale prices in India?
Yes.
No, so see, Basmati is mainly an export commodity, and 70% of the crop is almost exported. So only about 25-30% of Basmati is consumed within India. So it will have a minimum impact in the domestic prices for India. Yeah.
All right. And Mr. Gupta, you've seen a 30% decline in terms of exports in FY24. Now, this was a major loss. And of course, on the back of this news, you will be able to recover a lot of that amount. So I want to understand that what are the kind of export volumes that you'll be seeing bouncing back, and what will be the levers apart from this?
See, as I said, these MEP abolishment will, facilitate only the bulk exports. KRBL business is mainly in the branded segment, and that business will continue as is. We were very minimally impacted by this MEP, but again, it's a welcome move because it will open up more trade avenues for us. But our branded business will continue as is.
All right, Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for giving us those insights and making us understand what the scrapping of MEP means for Basmati rice exporters. And thank you so much for taking out time and speaking with us at NDTV Profit.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Right. Moving on, there are a lot of stocks in focus, a lot of stocks that are buzzing on the back of a lot of news action. And we have Sharmila Joshi of sharmilajoshi.com joining us to give us insights on all of these buzzing stocks. Sharmila, I'll come to you first one with all of these, rice stocks, KRBL, LT Foods, Chamanlal Sethi. All of these are buzzing on the back of the scrapping of MEP for Basmati rice exports. Your view on these stocks?
I think it's a positive view because, what we've really seen is that while, as you heard the management say, that it was the lower end of the spectrum that was affected and that will improve going forward. I think so what I'm trying to say is that perhaps numbers were not affected to that extent, but you do see a sentimental hit when, this kind of a ban comes in, and now that has been, that will go away. So sentiment wise, it's a positive. Stocks have also corrected. So overall, I think it's positive news for the entire rice basket.
All right, Sharmila. The next counter that is in focus is Adani Green and Adani Power. And we have Mihika joining in with more details on that. Mihika, what are you picking up?
Yeah, Adani Green, Adani Power, both up 6% in trade today. And this is after both the companies received a letter of intent for the supply of power from the Maharashtra State Discom. Now, the letter of intent was for an aggregate supply of 6,600 megawatts of hybrid solar and thermal power. Now, I'll come to Adani Green first. Now, Adani Green will supply 5 gigawatts of solar power from Khavda, which is in Gujarat, and is where the world's largest renewable energy park is currently being developed. The solar capacity is allocated at a flat tariff of 2.7 rupees per kilowatt hours. And the 5 gigawatt solar capacity award is actually the world's largest award of such kind since 2020. As for Adani Power, well, they will supply 1,486 megawatts of thermal power, and this would be from the new 1,600 megawatt thermal capacity, which has used ultra supercritical technology, and this thermal capacity has been awarded for 25-year power supply. We actually had MK come up with a note on Adani Green Energy at a target price of 2,550 rupees, which is a 42.6% upside, and they've said that this development is a very key positive news flow for the company as well.
Very interesting, Mihika. Thank you so much for breaking that down for us. Adani Green, well, it's up in trade today. Both Adani Power and Adani Green are seeing more than 6% of gains as we speak. Sharmila, I'll come to you. You know, this is a 5 gigawatt solar capacity, and this is one of the world's largest awards since 2020. So it's a big one for both of these companies. Your view on both Adani Power and Adani Green?
I think once again positive, because I think if you look at the breakup of the Adani group and where their growth has come from and where going forward business looks good, then I think power is definitely a space where you would see, I mean, not just for Adani, but I think for a whole host of companies, there are a lot of interesting things happening in this space. A lot of people are talking about green energy and that whole move, and solar power with making EV batteries, etc., etc. So across the spectrum, I think power is very interesting. And if you look at both these companies, this news is a definite positive. The numbers look good, valuations look attractive. So I think for both companies, it's very positive news.
All right, so valuations also look attractive for both the company. That's a very interesting point. But another set of stocks which is in focus is sugar stocks and distillery stocks. Now, this is on the back of DFPD allows ENA production from sugarcane juice and B-heavy molasses. And we have Varsha joining in with more details on that. Varsha, what are you picking up?
Well, Mahima, if you see companies like Balrampur Chini, Sri Renuka Sugar, Bajaj Hindustan, all the sugar companies are up today. Also, distilleries companies such as Radico Khaitan, United Spirits, Global Spirits, and allied blenders and distilleries are all up. Now, this is on the back of the major move, that is the Department of Food and Public Distribution has allowed sugar mills and distilleries to produce for the production of rectified spirit and extra neutral alcohol from the sugarcane juice and B-heavy molasses. So this decision will actually diversify revenue streams for sugar mills, enabling them to produce RS and ENA, which are used in the major industries like pharmaceuticals or alcohol or food processing and cosmetic industries. Now, previously the government had banned this to safeguard sugar production in December 2023, fearing a shortfall in sugar cane crops. But however, Atul Chaturvedi who's the of Renuka Sugars, told NDTV Profit that the cane crop looks strong this season and the new policy will not affect the sugar production. Now, distilleries are set to benefit, and we are seeing the buzzing. We are seeing the stocks buzzing. Now, this is because their capacity utilization will improve, which will enhance overall profitability. So, this is the reason why we are seeing distillery companies and sugar companies are buzzing as of today.
All right, Varsha, thank you so much for giving us those details on distilleries as well as sugar stock. Well, more than the sugar stocks, it's the distilleries that are seeing significant up moves. Something like Global Spirits, Radico Khaitan is up 3.2%. Global Spirits almost touched an intraday high of 10%. There's Tilak Nagar, there's a lot of stocks like Balrampur Chini as well. Radico Khaitan, again, as I mentioned, is up around 3%. Sharmila, your views, if you can break it down for us in terms of distilleries as well as, sugar stocks, what looks attractive to you? And of course, how will the news impact